Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a little bit different. So what we are doing is I'm upgrading my whole network, my home network. So today what I have is, this is my rack in the garage. So what I have is I have a 40-net router, which is a 100D 40-net router. I have an unmanaged switch, a PoE switch that's powering one of the access points on my first floor. And of course I have the cyber power, like the PDU power distribution unit here, like a surge protection for all of this. And I've got my control 4 controller at the bottom, and of course my modem right here from the ISP. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be replacing my router. I'm keeping the unmanaged switch. It's a 1 gig switch. I'm gonna keep it for the devices that are 1 gig, but overall I'm upgrading my network to a 10 gig network and a Wi-Fi 7 network. Today I have Wi-Fi 6, 1 gig network. I'm just doing 10 gig and Wi-Fi 7. Although my internet speed is only 1 gig from the ISP, from Spectrum, but so I'm not gonna have more than 1 gig internet speed. But at least internally within the network, I'm going to leverage the whole 5 gig or the 10 gig speeds that I'm going to be upgrading to. Reason for that is, for example, if I'm using wireless VR, for example, which one was the one that does not have, like the Play for Dream or the MetaQuest, that doesn't have a direct connection to the computer outside of USB-C, of course, not a DisplayPort connection. I think it will leverage that Wi-Fi 7 and the 10 gig speed that I have. Yeah, so if you see here what I have from this router right here, this cable right here is going to the second floor to my game room to another switch. I'll show you guys that. Here are just connected to the devices at the bottom. This one is going to the router, and from this unmanaged switch there should be only 2 ports that are working. One of them is going to the router and the other one is going to the PoE access point. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Which is right here in the ceiling. So this is one of the access points that is going to be replaced. And then if we go up to the second floor, these are the ports right here that are going down, that are going from the modem, from the router downstairs. One of those connections is going to a switch right here. So from downstairs, I'm going from the router, from the 100D router, into this switch. This is also a PU switch that is powering a second access point right here in the ceiling. And then I also have another cable from this switch right here that's going from the wall, right there from the wall, all the way across the top, and it's going here. And from here, excuse the mess, is going into another switch. And this switch right here, of course, I have another controller, I have a NAS, my receiver, my PlayStation, my Xbox, my Nintendo Switch dock, every wired connection here, my computer, is all going to this switch. Yep. So that's what we're going to be doing, and I'm not doing Ethernet anymore, at least between the routers and the switches. I'm going fiber. So yeah, let me show you guys what I'm going to replace all this with. So let's take a look. This is all the devices that I'm going to replace it with. The 2 access points that I'm going to be... So the company that I went with is Ubiquiti. Now, Ubiquiti, I used to work in networking a lot, and we used to test a lot of competitors, a lot of equipment, and Ubiquiti was one of the best wireless access points. They make the best access points, and when we were doing the tests, when we were running the using our tools to test these devices, they produced the best test results. So that's why I decided to go with Ubiquiti. I looked at Netgear, I looked at Fortinet again, and then or Ingenious, but at the end, with some feedback from a friend of mine as well, we decided to go with Ubiquiti. So this is the access point, which is the E7 enterprise access point. I mean, very, very well built devices. Take a look, it's a pretty big access point. And I'm going to be mounting this in the ceiling. And I think it has 2 ports. I think one of them is a 10 gig. Let me see. Yeah. So it has a 10 gig port right here, and this is a secondary, I think 2.5 gig. So and it's Unify Enterprise. So this is, I mean, it's an overkill for home, of course, but that's how I roll. I want to make sure that I install everything that's top end at my house. Same thing, I have two access points, 2 E7s. One of them is going to go here, and again, one of them is going to go in the game room. We're also going to go with a, as I showed you, there's 2 switches in the game room upstairs. So those 2 switches are going to be replaced by these 2 switches right here. One of them is the Switch Pro XG 8 PoE, which is an 8-port PoE plus. One of them is going to be in the rack here to power this AP, and the other one is going to be in the rack upstairs to power the second AP. So 2 of those, one and another one right here, and of course they all have fiber ports. So 2 fiber ports, and from the router. So let's do this. Let's put this one here. Actually, sorry guys. These 2 switches, they're both gonna go in the room upstairs to replace the 2 switches out there. Upstairs, yes. In the rack itself, what's going to be powering this access point is going to be a Switch Pro XG10 PoE. So in the rack, this 10-port switch is going to go in, and it has 2 fiber ports. So you have, and all of these are 10 gig ports. All of the Ethernet ports are 10 gig ports, and you have 2 fiber ports. So that switch here is going to be going in the rack downstairs in the garage. And the router is going to be the Dream Machine Pro Max. Again, it has 2 SFP ports, and it has a WAN port, a 10 gig WAN port. Again, I don't care about the 10 gig WAN port because my network is only 1 gig. And then you have the 2 SFP ports right here. And the way it's going to go from the router to this 10-port switch using the fiber connection, and then we're going to go from the switch right here. The other fiber port is going to go to the switch in my rack upstairs, and then from the switch upstairs you're going to have to go from a fiber to the other switch in the room as well, also fiber. Yep. So we're going to go through all of this and how we're going to set it up, and let's see. Okay, so this is what we've done. So right here is the top part is the my router, which is the UDM Pro Max, and the bottom part here is the switch, which is the USW Pro XG. I have connected the router to the switch using an SFP plus port, which is the fiber port right here. So you see that cable going into the switch. And then of course here is the WAN cable going into my modem, and then I have some of the devices here, which is the control 4 controller and the NAS connected to the router directly, and 1 Ethernet going into this unmanaged switch right here. So that's the setup that I have here. And now from the switch I have a fiber port fiber connection that is going, let's see, that is going all the way, you see it here, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Yep, all the way up. You can see it. And there's that tiny hole up there where it's actually going to the game room upstairs. And I'll show you where that cable is actually coming up from. And from the PoE switch, this is a PoE switch. This is, again, this is all 10 gig. This is a PoE switch, and which is PoE++. That could go up to, I think, to 90 watts per port. And we have one Ethernet cable right here, and you see it, this black Ethernet cable here. That is also going from that hole up there. And if I go inside, you'll see it connected to this access point right here. And then going upstairs, which is the mess that we had to do here, because yep, we had to open up the wall, and again, because it was not easy to get the cables from this access point right here to the switch. But anyway, let's tell you what happened. So you see the bottom, the cable from the garage that I said is going up. It's actually coming up from here. This is the one right here, and it's going into this 8-port PoE plus switch, also a ubiquity port, is going into fiber. And then you have another fiber connection right here. You'll see that cable, and you'll see it going through the wall right here, going all the way up right here, and it's actually going all across the ceiling and coming down from here to power another switch that I have here, which is the same thing, an 8-port PoE switch, going fiber here. And then there's one connection that's going from here to this unmanaged switch. And again, all of these are 10 gigs, except this, these unmanaged switches are 1 gig, because there's a lot of devices that really do not support 10 gigs, so it's a waste of ports to be connecting 1 gig devices to 10 gig ports. So I have this unmanaged switch, 1 gig ports for like PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, everything that I have wired. To be honest, even my receiver here. To be honest, I actually wanted 10 gig here just because of the new PC that I built. It has a 5G port on the back, Ethernet port on the back. So that's the Ethernet port that's going from here to the PC. And then one Ethernet port that is going to this switch, and another Ethernet port. Oh yes, the third Ethernet cable is actually going all the way down, going all the way across, coming out of here to this PC right here. That's also a 5 gig port on the back. Yeah. So this is where we are. And of course, you have the access point all the way on top, and you have the Ethernet cable going down from the AP right here. I'm gonna put a wall plate here, and then I'm gonna go from that wall plate, which is basically this wall plate right here, is gonna go there, and it's gonna go to the PoE switch to power it. Yep. And then of course I gotta, fix the wall and do all of that. And here's basically it's the same access point that I put in the garage, in the family room. I'm putting the same one here, which is like Wi-Fi 7 as well. And here you guys can see that everything is connected. You have your router. The uplink is 2.5, which is the Spectrum modem that is connected on the to the router via 2.5 gig link. And then you have the switch in the garage connected with the SFP Plus, the uplink, to the SIM rack switch also via the SFP Plus uplink. And then the cabinet switch, also fiber. And then the family room access point and the game room access points are also connected to the PoE switches with a 10 gigabit connection. And like I said, it's all the way to Wi-Fi 7, so we're going to the 320 megahertz bands. Everything is great. Everything is awesome. Provides a lot of visibility over your network. You have all of the devices right here that I have on my network. It's a pretty beefy network, so a bunch of devices, and give you the signal strength and everything, and what network they're connected to. Give you information about the ports, if it's PoE Plus or PoE, how much power is being used. Also gives you information about the wireless, the airtime, the interference, and the retries, if there's any issues with your network, how the clients are spread across 2.4, 5, and 6, and any insights that may happen here. Topology as well. So if you take a look here, you have a network topology and how all your devices are connected. And then you can just look, I just want to look into the wired devices, and then it'll only show you the wired devices. You can take a look at it. And let's say you do not want the wired, you want the devices connected to 6 gigahertz, then it'll show you the devices that are connected to the 6 gigahertz band, and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty beefy system. Setting up your wireless, VPN, all of that stuff. Again, this is an overkill for a house, but it's just amazing. And also, in addition to all of this, they have a subscription. Ubiquiti, they have a subscription for like your firewall and what do they call it? Let's see, I forgot what they call it. So cybersecure is basically it protects against ads, botnets, threat intelligence, everything that you wanted to block here. It's only $99 a year, and you can say that you can filter whatever you want to filter: ad block, safe search. You can do all of this, adult themes. You can block whatever the heck you want to block. And of course, there's traffic logging, tracks all the traffic in and out of your network. So pretty cool stuff. Okay, so now we started the patchwork. Did the first round just to make sure the mesh tape holds, and then we'll do another round. And I added these wall plates right here, the cover plates, one for the Ethernet and one for the fiber. Same thing here. This is the fiber, like I said, is coming from downstairs. I added this mesh wall plate. So yeah, I'm gonna sand. I'm gonna probably do another phase. Sand it, and yep, probably add texture, and then repaint this side. Oh, and also this is in the way, makes it even harder to work, but almost there.